Welcome to episode number 188 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We are recording on December the 18th, 2022. My name's Eric, host of the show, based in Southern Ontario, hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and of course, computer geek. As a first responder, witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services during major events and started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer.
My name is Ian. I'm a hermit happily snowed in tonight on Vancouver Island.
My name's Alan. I'm a hermit happily snowed in tonight on Vancouver Island.
Wait a minute.
No, the other script.
I mean, whoa. No, I'm Alan. I'm a safety trainer, first responder, security expert, and overall safety nerd, and definitely not Ian.
I'm Scott, a first responder from Ontario. I like learning things, and I worry about our fragile infrastructure.
I'm Jeff. I'm based in Central Ontario. I'm a target shooter, ham radio operator, general overall handyman, and weather nerd.
Hey guys, I'm Brad. I'm in Eastern Ontario. Consider myself a part-time amateur prepper.
My name is Pierre. I'm a tactical beard owner, t-shirt goer, non-binary conformant person that doesn't like overlords.
Fair enough. And we're only two people away from
watching you type in the show notes is painful right now, man.
I was waiting to see what.
Yeah, I screwed up so much stuff. I was like, "Oh shit, we're getting to meet." Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think this is the most people we've had on for a panel.
For a while, anyway.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Yes. Well, there was a while we were limited to 6, so
True.
How exciting. Want to help support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air? Buy some swag. We have both the Canadian Prepper Podcast t-shirt and the tactical Velcro patch available at prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds help keep the lights on, the backup generator, and can openers supplied.
No gasifiers.
no guys.
There might be some showing up in stockings. Who knows?
Yeah, pretty big stocking.
It's a hell of a stocking.
And if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and like us on Facebook and submit a review on iTunes. We also want your feedback, good or bad, or just if there's a topic you want us to cover, you can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
All right, so we've got some random content for you in this episode. We're going to start off with some recent news, update you on our recent preparedness. Then we're going to get into the main topic, our annual Christmas chat, and we're going to mix in some everyday carry in there as well, because why not? So let's move into the news.
Quick article here from Muskoka 411. Snowmobiler was injured in a collision in Bracebridge and ended up being airlifted to Toronto. So it's going to be that time of year where some of the trails are starting to open up, and please prepare accordingly and make sure you're paying attention when you're out there on the trails. It's not a good time to have to be airlifted from remote areas.
Yeah, and being on the executive of a local snowmobile club here, the trails aren't even open yet. So I don't even know what the guy thinks he's doing out there. But good luck with his insurance and his potential lawsuit for driving on a closed trail. No different than driving on a closed road. So
yeah,
be
I
smart
help out
about
with
it.
I help out with that Skidoo Club too, and I quite enjoy the why are the trails on open messages, and they start right about now. As soon as the snow starts to fall.
But how far is Bracebridge from you guys? Is it
Half an
part of
hour.
the same? Oh, okay. Well then, yeah.
Half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's,
Disregard
the trails
the
are nowhere
45
near
seconds.
ready. Nowhere near ready.
No.
Disregard.
Nope.
Tell them if they're getting antsy, they can go to Santa's Village. Or
The only snowmobile trails that are open in Ontario right now are way north. Cochrane's open. A bit of an area around Smooth Rock Falls, Kapuskasing. They're open limited, and nowhere else in Ontario is a trail open yet.
No.
Didn't you guys have a big dumping like a month ago, and they all disappear?
All
Pretty well
disappeared.
disappeared. It's snowing right now, and
Yep.
they're saying we could get, depending areas could get lots of snow in the next week or so, which would be fine. But I mean, we have to get the snow first and the
Still.
cold. So
Still not going to be enough to open the trails for at least another month or two.
Don't you still need like a good deep freeze to get a like rock hard base?
absolutely. Oh yeah, to get the swamps to freeze in that. Yeah. And the problem is if you get the huge dumping of snow, it actually insulates it and then it doesn't freeze. So
Yeah, but I've watched lots of videos where if you just go full throttle across the water, they most make it across.
As long
Problem
as you don't-
solved.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just fucking give her bud. That's all.
don't let off.
All
the
gas,
throttle.
no
brakes.
We'll probably
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
There we go. We solved that problem.
Just seeing
I
those
mean,
faces actually
Instagram
are
may
pretty
have lied
impressive.
to me, but
No,
It's on the internet. It has to be true.
absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, I do have a long drawn out story here. There is a point to it. Bear with me.
All right.
So last year, for various reasons, we were told to do certain things to keep grandma alive, and think about grandma, type of thing. So, anyways, in the interim, our government's been spending money like crazy. A couple of news articles I had in here: 333 million given to Southeast Asian countries in the last week by the government. Another 500 million this week to Ukraine, and now all of a sudden, I guess also this week in various news articles, they're telling us that they can't afford healthcare funding. The two might be related.
Well, just cancel the checks.
Yeah, and
The
so
three, mate.
so
the three
yeah,
mate.
so interesting enough, because of the healthcare funding, of course, the first thing they're saying is, well, grandma, if you're a burden on the healthcare system, have you thought of maids? And so they're actually encouraging people to kill themselves just in order to offset the cost of the healthcare system, which I thought was interesting. Now, the reason I'm talking about this, not for the political aspect, Pierre, but honestly, as part of your preparedness, has anybody thought about doing a living will, just in case you don't want to have somebody use maids on you while you're knocked unconscious or whatever? Just it's one of those things to think about. That actually, I kind of was thinking about that, and the fact that, have you discussed it with your spouse if you want them to pull the plug or not? And yeah, it's just something that came across my desk here this week, and I was like, yeah, something we've never really talked about is like what to do.
Mhm.
Speak for yourself.
I
So
thought you were going a different route where I was just going to have to shoot someone and then save the money from the healthcare having to do it.
well,
Yeah, my bad. I misunderstood that.
no, I said you had to bear with me because there was actually a non-political reason to talk about this. So
Well, has
Anyway.
there not been at least a handful or more of, and again, this goes back to our
Yeah.
illustrious government telling our military veterans that you were asking for too much, but they'll give all this money out. And now
Yeah.
that these military veterans are suffering, oh, have you thought about assisted suicide if things are bad? Oh,
Jeff,
how
it's
about
Sunday,
government
not
use-
Monday.
yeah, we're gonna skip over that part. We're gonna skip over the actual funding part. I'm just saying because of the funding, they're shorthanded. They're encouraging people to suicide.
Yeah.
But if your kids are thinking, well, grandma and grandpa, they might actually be a burden on the healthcare system now. They've had a car accident and they're unconscious. Maybe we should just kind of pull the plug. And if you have a living will, you can actually say, hey, I don't want somebody to pull the plug. I want them to keep me alive as long as possible because I might recover, or my belief structure doesn't believe in that, or whatever. I just thought it's something that, it's one of those we talked about. I think we've talked about wills. And I think we've talked about like kind of, I guess preparedness for medical stuff. We never actually talked about what's if you can't speak for yourself. So
Oh, that's
I
I
actually
have
a
two
really,
things
really
to
good
say
point.
about that.
Yep,
What's
that
that?
is a good point.
I have two things to say about that. First, I think Ebenezer Scrooge got it right. Let them die and decrease the surplus population.
Bah humbug?
That's it. Second, we're going out on our own terms here. That should be plan one, and plan two should be with your spouse and your partner. Like my far better than my half, and I have discussed it at length. And like we have a whole like if then
Checklist.
checkbox, and when we meet those criteria, we're gonna go for a long walk in the woods, and only one of us is gonna come back.
Kind of like the old people in the iceberg type of thing up north.
Or the Viking funeral ship and whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but like, is it a rock, paper, scissors thing about who comes back?
No, it's situational dependent.
I was gonna say,
when
don't hand down
when it's
the
my
Infinity
time to
Gauntlet.
go, I've said I will unalive myself long before I ever need to be in assisted living. Like we're just not doing that. I've seen those conditions. I've worked in those conditions. I will not subject myself nor the family to that. So when we get to that point and we have that criteria, that's when we make that. That's when we take that walk.
Yeah.
My wife works there now, and she works in a residence, not a long-term home or retirement home, and it's bad. She doesn't like it. She unfortunately found a resident 2 years ago deceased, did everything that she was supposed to do, but it still hit her hard. And we've both agreed that when it comes time for that, neither of us are walking through those doors to never walk out again.
I can take care of that, buddy.
I know you can.
I'm there for it.
I know you can, bud. I know you can. I know you got my back.
Pierre's got the solution. His motto is reach out and touch somebody.
Absolutely. Just
From a really long
From a distance. From a distance. Just a tip, I promise.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it beats a hammer. I suppose that might be the faster way of doing it.
I was assuming it'd be carbon monoxide.
Well, maybe
that's
the way Alan Cheese would.
that's the chamber.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Maybe if you build a sauna, it might have a secondary use later on. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Just an accidental leak in a gasifier, and we're good to go.
There you go.
but anyways, yeah. No, I just thought it was interesting perspective on that. So that was all I had for news today.
You didn't want to talk about snow in Vancouver? Come on. Like that
Okay,
doesn't
fine.
happen. or what?
First segment, we've already derailed. I love this.
All right, fair enough. So I actually put in the notes was OMG, there's snow in Vancouver. No, actually, I guess all of BC is kind of suffering from a snowstorm right now. I think they're talking about a foot for us later on this week, right around the time my daughter's going to be coming over for solstice. But yeah, I think there's 6 inches of snow on the ground right now in Vancouver, which of course is enough to turn off the SkyTrain system, which of course they were encouraging everybody to dump their cars and start using. But it turns out that as soon as there's snow on the rails, they can't run SkyTrains. So yeah, I guess there's chaos in Vancouver right now because of a little bit of snow, which also means that I guess most of the cars are going to be attracted to the ditches, and tow trucks won't be around and all that stuff. So good time to be not there.
That's the annual meeting of the Summer Tires Club.
Pretty much.
Yeah, the one episode I missed when I wasn't feeling well, I believe I'd put a thing in there about in Vancouver, somebody had complained that their 45-minute drive home ended up taking them 8 hours or something like that. So
yeah, that was the
Yeah,
last.
oh yeah, they
update.
were all upset. They were all upset because they had no water and they were hungry.
And no
Yeah,
blanket,
yeah.
and no food, and no fuel, and
But
but
Even
again,
though
like
there's all this stuff, can you still get your soy lattes in Vancouver?
I'm sure Starbucks is a backup generator, right? And the avocado toast.
As long as that's still available, I'm sure the Vancouverians will deal with it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that they don't seem to ever learn from their little mistakes. But anyway,
No.
So once again, chaos in Vancouver reigns supreme.
Yeah, apparently.
That's it.
Chaos reigns supreme. Snow in Vancouver. Those are like chaos reigns supreme in Vancouver. Snow in Vancouver are like they're connected, but not mutually connected. Like it's
Well, it's
always
kinda like-
chaotic. It just happens to be snow this time.
Yeah, but it's kind of like Texas. Like when they have all their water pipes running on the outside of the house and it finally goes below zero, it's chaos in Texas too, because they never really build anything for that type of weather. And they should here, but they don't. And they just think, insulation, that's for those other people.
well,
And-
half the houses in Texas don't even have a furnace. They have an air conditioner, but they don't even have a furnace. They have no
Yeah.
way to heat at all.
Have you tried eating beans?
And then have a lighter, and then anyway,
Oh,
I
boy.
got one in here.
carry on.
In Peru, I guess there's a whole bunch of civil unrest going on. A bunch of Canadians that are down there. Instead of here in the article, where was it here? There's a whole lot of people. I don't remember where it is now. A whole lot of people in Peru that are trying to. Oh, here we go. 3,900 Canadians currently in Peru. And the consensus is with everybody that the government isn't doing enough to try to get them out. Lot of demonstrations and protests going on. The Canadian government has advised Canadians in Peru to avoid areas where demonstrations are taking place, not to cross roadblocks, even if they're unattended, and follow the instructions of local authorities.
So what's the source of the unrest here?
The president was ousted.
At gunpoint?
Ousted and arrested on December 7th after he attempted to dissolve Peru's Congress and announced that he would rule by decree.
December 7th.
Yeah. And they're,
So
they're-
the 8th, you should have figured out how to get home. You're
Yeah.
not my problem anymore.
Or the 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it
There
be
were
bad?
probably
I mean, yeah,
some
there were
clues,
there was
yeah.
probably
There'd
be
hints
some
getting
clues,
to that,
yeah.
but to that
Oh, yeah.
point, like, oh well, let's stay a little bit longer because it's not snowing. So I'm like, there is a point where I'm like, yeah, no, you're not taxpayers' responsibility anymore according to my standards. But like,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
but
I have
according to your
issues.
standard, when is somebody a taxpayer's responsibility?
Good question.
Never.
So we'll talk about that on
Exactly.
Monday night.
Yeah.
That's a Monday night question.
Yeah. Actually, it's so funny because I was watching somebody had CNN with the sound off type of thing. I saw the Peruvian president sitting there reading from a piece of paper, and his hands were just shaking like a leaf, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was like, that doesn't look overly normal, but I kind of just put it in the back of my brain. But yeah, I guess he was about to probably get arrested, so that probably didn't
But
bode well for him.
I mean, so are these people like half going there half the year? Like they said, let's not go to Florida, let's go to Peru instead. But I mean, like, it's kind of semi sort of on you if you decide that you want to go travel to a country that you didn't bother researching, at least Googling
absolutely.
the country a little bit to say, like,
Yep.
read some articles and just be like, hey, this might not, you know what, we should spend that extra $1,000 and go to this country that looks a little more stable. And then
Yep.
now, government's got to, or, government, friends, family, anybody at this point, that has to scrounge up something to try and get you out. Like, you should have prepped a little bit better and figured out that, is this place even worth going to see? Like, hey, let's give that a year to settle down.
Oh, but
And
Pierre,
do whatever.
I can speak with some
Or
authority on this one.
or as like Denny says in the live chat there, as soon as you heard the shit was hitting the fan,
Yeah.
get your ass out of there. Like,
Either for-
don't wait around.
Yeah.
Don't wait around. I mean, it just blows my mind, all these people that wait around for the government to do something for them instead
But
of
first-
doing it yourself.
First mover advantage is one thing, but by the same token, though, I can tell you I've seen it a lot where people are so focused on their trip to, for example, Machu Picchu or the lines at Nazca or whatever, and something that's been on their bucket list forever. And seriously, people could be getting
And-
shot in the street 2 streets over, but they're so focused on getting to Machu Picchu to fulfill that lifelong dream, they don't even pay attention to it until it's way too late. And
And I have no sympathy for people that do that.
No,
and then
I'm
something
not
bad
saying I
happens.
do, but
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, if it's on your bucket list, and I mean, like, fine, you were told you got 2 weeks to live. Like, what's the difference of being like, hey, I saw the place and you got shot anyways? But I mean, if you're a regular, average age, healthy person that takes care of themselves in most scenarios or whatever, it's okay to push that off a little bit.
Yeah. Machu
least in
Picchu's
my
not
opinion.
going anywhere.
Not unless there's a volcano or a hurricane coming, but that's up there.
And really, if
Yeah.
it is, you're still probably best to get your butt out of there.
Absolutely. Get the hell out.
Jeez.
So I put an article in just because it amused me. In Florida, a major power outage was caused by an iguana for the 3rd time.
Was it
I have
this
so
big?
many questions
Yeah.
about this
Time
article.
This
did the
year.
iguana
I'm
have a
assuming
political
it's the
message to
3rd
spread?
iguana.
No,
Like-
I'm thinking that maybe the iguana's trying to make a point and he's trying to get a message out. Like, does he have a political statement or does he?
Fragile infrastructure, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Quite. an
I
iguana.
saw it in the show notes and everything, and I was like, I have so many questions, but we're live. I was like, I'm gonna wait for him to say something. I'm just gonna be like,
Yeah.
I
Does he
need
have-
I need answers. I need answers here.
Oh,
Does
I
he have a
just-
list of
To
demands?
be honest, it's no different than up here in Canada where you get a raccoon or something that decides to go across one of the hydro lines or something, and
No, I have
he
a
ends up
16-cent solution
becoming
for that.
fried bacon and puts the power out. I mean, they're animals; they're gonna crawl over everything, so it's
Yeah.
not that unusual. But
Oh, it's not that unusual. I just put it in mostly because it was amusing, but also because it talks about just how fragile some of this stuff is.
oh,
right?
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, like, yeah. I mean, I don't have raccoon problems. I have a 19-cent solution with a valid tag for it out where we are. But yeah, no, it's just, yeah, I have so many questions, and like,
But-
we're not going to talk about it online. But like,
No, but
yeah, I have
Scott
so
does
many
have a really good
questions.
point. I mean, so yeah, you get all the circuit breakers in the world and all the substations that are taking care of the load and stuff. But as soon as something like an iguana comes along, shows
Game
you
over.
some serious design flaws if that's what's going to F up your electrical system. So
Well, it's because these systems are designed to be person proof. not necessarily animal proof. They figure if they can keep out the people, the animals will also not go. Obviously,
Yeah.
that is incorrect given the frequency with which it happens.
Well, the fact this is the third time this year this same problem has caused a major outage in the same area.
Sounds like they've identified
Which
an
is
issue.
why
to fix.
I have so many questions, because it's the third.
Well, like, has this not happened before this year? Like, did they not like know that they should maybe get some iguana-proof fencing or something? I don't
Yeah.
know.
We are not going to talk. We're not going to backlog this,
Significant
'cause then I
overlap
have more
between the
questions.
smartest iguanas and the dumbest Floridians.
Well,
So
instead of Florida Man,
episode
it's Florida
episode
iguana.
189 is going to be prepping for iguanas.
Iguana proofing your food stash. All right.
Yep.
Step 1: live in Canada. Done.
Step 2: don't leave it on outside.
Awesome.
Oh.
Well, let's move into what we've done for prep, shall we?
The good news is the giant pile of lupini beans that we did are fairly iguana proof now that they are in 33 1-liter jars.
Nice.
We did rehydrated them and rinsed them and boiled them up in a pot the size of a bathtub for a toddler. It's really quite impressive, actually.
Question: what are lupini beans?
Great big beans when they're rehydrated. They're probably 3/4 of an inch across. Just kind of in with salt, and you just pop them in, kind of like a protein source. You just kind of slowly eat, like if you're eating like a snack food. And my friends who were really excited about it sort of rave about them, so we figured we'd give it a try. So,
And
Well, out of
giving it a
33
try was
jars, I hope you like
33
them.
liters.
well, we gave them most of them, and we kept a few for ourselves. So.
I wonder if it's the same as what they call broad beans. There's like they're dried and salted normally for snack food, but I don't know. But
I don't know. I'll let you know when we get through a few liters if Neil would gas fire to heat up the place. I did some plumbing repairs around the house, which I'm really pleased with. I always like being able to fix things myself. And I did a little bit of prepper Christmas shopping. I was trying to think what to buy for one of my mag buddies who may or may not be listening. And I was in one of our hardware stores around here that I'm pretty sure is run by preppers, just based on some of the things they sell. So I thought, what's something that I would like? Oh, I'll buy it for him. So
Good idea.
Worst
makes it
case,
a whole-
you get it regifted to you next year.
well, that's kind of what
Or I
I'm
was going to
hoping.
say, if they don't like it, you can just say, well, give it back to me and I'll take it back and return it eventually.
I'll get you something else.
So anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Nice.
I did a lot of snow moving in the last 3 days now. We had a lot of snow come here. A little bit of fuel rotation, picked up a few pantry items, and working on fixing my snowblower slowly. I'm not mechanically inclined, never taken apart a snowblower and carburetor before. So it's a YouTube university, learn as I go, nice and slow, but I'm sticking at it, and I'm going to rely only on myself and not my very good friendly neighbor next door who lent me his snowblower to do my yard and whatnot with. And I promptly returned it and had it full of fuel and said, thank you very much. I might need it again on the next snowstorm, depending on the repairs. And he said, sure, anytime. So
is that a
And a lot of
engine
work.
thing or the actual impeller thing?
engine thing.
Oh, okay.
Engine thing. I was very stupid. Last year, the snowblower crapped out at the end of the year, and I didn't know why. So I started trying to diagnose it very slowly and one thing at a time. Took the spark plug out. I got busy with some other things and was fairly certain I had put the spark plug back in, but I had not. So the whole thing seized up, and I've managed to get it rotating again, and now it's just trial and error just to see exactly what happened last year to fix it for this year, and hopefully I don't have to go out and buy a new snowblower. So
Just remember, there's always got to be at least one screw or one bolt left over after you put it back together. Just
every
because-
time. I've never put anything back together and not had any parts left over, but I've never had anything blow up, so I'm good.
That's how,
I
that's
have
how
a
you know you've
drawer
won. You've
full.
made improvements on it as a result.
Yeah, you
You're
like
clearly
weight.
smarter than the engineer that built it. So
Yeah.
Don't get me started on engineers.
That was totally pointed at you, Pierre.
Oh,
You're welcome.
So I just did a little bit of food prep and topped up all my fuels, my propane, my gas, all that stuff. Got everything all topped up and fixed up. I like Brad there. I have to make a repair on my generator, so I did start that, but I didn't get very far. But I do have the backup for the backup, so I'm okay.
1 is none, 2 is 1. Or
Exactly.
2 is 1, none is none. Yeah.
Right,
I'm
for
not buying
myself,
another snowblower.
I'm not.
picked up some ham radio gear from a local ham that was clearing out his shack. He's grabbing some new stuff, so he had some old bits and pieces he was getting rid of, and I could use some of it. So grabbed that to add to my collection of ham radio stuff, which I know is strange for me. Found some baby formula. So those that don't know, there's a big shortage going on right now, and we were able to hunt down some more to add to our stash. So it was always good to have a little extra on hand. So that was good. And then another ham radio thing, we checked in with Santa on the local Santa net. So starting to try to get the little guy involved with radio and such. And you got to have a little chat with Santa Claus. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Question on baby formula. Is that like all types of baby formula, or is it just like the I guess there's like a soy-based and milk-based?
It's rotating. It's one week there'll be a certain kind in, the next week it'll be gone, there'll be another kind in, the next week there'll be nothing, the next week everything will be back, and then 2 weeks later everything will be gone. It's quite frustrating.
Soviet, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating, and plus our little one, this specific formula we have is the only formula we found that doesn't cause her discomfort or having her puke and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's when we find it, we grab as much as we can. Yeah.
That's interesting. Rotating shortages. Yeah. We haven't actually had lettuce at our Costco for like the last 2 months now, which is kind of funny.
Wow.
Yeah, wait till you go to another store and find out how much it is.
Yeah.
$5 a head.
Yo.
Yeah. Yeah, it's $9 for the 3 romaine lettuce in a bag at any store. $9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised, Eric, that you're still having a problem getting formula during the summer when we took our Newfoundland trip. My brother has a little one, and we sent him some because we could find some here. And then on the way out, we picked up more of it wherever we could find it. But we heard from him after that when we got back that Newfoundland had tons. There was no more shortage or anything. And I'm surprised at that. I haven't heard anything from him because he's keeping a close eye on it all over the place to make sure he can get some. He hasn't said anything that there's any kind of delay or any kind of shortages or anything. So that sucks.
Yeah. No, we use the Kirkland stuff, and it's been hard to come by. We can't find it anywhere. And we just happened to get tipped off actually today that there was some at the local Costco here. So I ran out, and there was maybe a box and a half left.
Snag it all.
Yeah, I just snagged what I could, and done.
Aaron says it's time to fire up the lettuce grow up on the basement again. The lettuce grow up. Yeah.
Not the devil's lettuce.
Yeah.
Potato.
Yeah,
Kale?
That stuff is the devil's lettuce.
Yeah, it's kind of it is grinding.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's good for you, but no thanks.
Yeah. Awesome. As for myself, well, I just got home finally, like 3 months worth of on-the-job training. That's all done with. So, yes, hazing ritual complete. So that means I actually get to have a life again, which is kind of good. So naturally, as soon as I got home, the wife wants to go to Costco tomorrow, so I got to go deal with people again.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's like let's take
Congrats
a
on
page from Pierre.
finishing the training. Sucks about everything else.
Yeah. Anyway, so later in the week, I should get back into full-on prepping mode, but I've kind of basically on hiatus the whole time. However, I guess while I was pretty much away from the house, the wife was busy doing reinstallation in the basement to kind of amp up the R value on that to, I guess, let our wood supplies stretch a little further for the wood heat. As for myself, I bought some projectiles. Because when you see them, you have to kind of grab them because it's like the rule of Costco. don't wait till the next time you come back because they won't be there. So yeah,
Like formula.
it's like formula or lettuce or anything else right now. It's like, yeah, wow, there's 3 boxes. I'll at least take one if I can afford it and whatever. But anyway, so yeah, busy setting back up the reloading bench here finally. So that's part of my reorganizing of the office since I kind of moved in here and I haven't even looked at it for the last 3 months. So it's time to get that busy with that. Believe it or not, I actually did a CGN deal this week.
Come on.
Yes.
Wow.
First
I thought the store
one.
shut down.
The first one in like 4 months, and actually first one since they brought in the registry. It's not a registry, but it wasn't even like one of those boomstick types. It was actually just a small little accessory, but still, yeah, I was
about
actually
to say, I
shocked.
was like, it was obviously legal or wasn't a trap, or we're gonna find out in the next 20 minutes because they know you're alive.
When they knocked down the door, yeah. No, honestly, it was like legit just a little accessory deal, and yeah, nice guy, and so we were chatting quite a bit there, and then yeah, other than that, really the only other thing we did is we had a little local meetup of like minds a couple days ago, and yeah, it was kind of fun. So that's about it.
Nice.
I did nothing anywhere near as interesting as that. I finished my first college program on Monday. Managed to pull out a 94 final on fire safety. I'm a little disappointed in myself.
Do better.
That's pretty good. I mean, you could have done better, but carry on.
Well, it's kind of like somebody from it's kind of like somebody from Mexico taking Spanish and getting a B. I mean, come on, you know?
Exactly.
Touche.
Exactly. So I've got 2 new courses starting second week of January. That's going to keep me busy for the rest of time, apparently. Reprogramming Baofangs and my truck radio to be a little bit more locally functional. I had an absolute ton of repeaters programmed into them for places that I will never visit because I got a little carried away. So I simplified that a little bit, made it a little bit easier to work with. Yep. And honestly, I haven't done a whole lot of anything else. I've been just reveling in a little bit of downtime after 3 months of study. So there we are.
So this week, because we got a boatload of snow on Friday, and I'm a horrible prepper, even though I've been on here way more than once. I fixed a snowblower while it was snowing and got a bunch of my tools rusty. But got it up and running. It was a good thing to get back into. I haven't worked with carbs much for what I do for a living. It's mostly fuel injected and regulated and everything, but it was kind of nice to, start from scratch and say, okay, do I got this? I got that. Take it all apart, minus the snow part and the not sitting in shorts, no shirt, and a beer when I should have done it in the nice weather.
I mean, you
but
won't do
got
that
it
in
up
the
and running.
snow? Come on. You won't do that in the snow? Shorts, t-shirt, beer.
Depends how many beers I've had.
What kind of Canadian are you?
I mean, just straight Scotch next time. Also, deleting all the apps off my kid's tablet. That's
For
the
reasons.
next prep I'm doing. For reasons.
You're welcome.
Yes. No, you got me more terrified than anything, and it's even worse than that one episode. Like, yeah, But so daughter's been feeling under the weather for the last 2 weeks. Like, no fever, no nothing, but just like a nonstop crazy cough at random hours of the day. So she's been home, so we're getting her to do some schoolwork online and send all the school stuff and getting all that done. But yeah, kind of vegging on the couch and like videos and this and that, playing a few games because we're doing stuff. And yeah, we're going back. I need to find an original Nintendo with Duck Hunt. That's all she's gonna play from now on, Maddie.
Gotta watch out for that little sneaky dog.
That laughing dog used to drive me nuts, eh?
Yeah, especially when you missed, right? Don't laugh at me.
Yeah,
Who do you think you are? Right? Yeah.
I'll show you miss next time. Oh, very good. Well, I think this is the longest intro we've done in quite a while.
That's because we're going to spend an hour and a half talking about nothing.
Probably. With that, let's move into the main topic, shall we?
We're going to do like top 2 ED setups and then random other stuff, or what are we doing?
I think that's what we'll do. Yeah, top 2 EDC for everybody, and then just random chit chat about Christmas season, what's coming up, and we'll open the floor to really just general chat and folks in the live chat jump in too. Throw your 2 cents in. Throw in your 2 favorite EDCs as well. We'll get them up and we'll chat about those as well.
All right. Well, I guess I'm first, so I'm going to do the solo layout for 1 second here. Same size, very easy, knife and flashlight. And the reason being is that they're super tiny, right? So that's one thing. But the other thing is it takes AAA batteries for the flashlight, which you can find everywhere.
It also makes your hands look bigger.
Exactly. That's a very
If they're
important.
both the same size, she won't prefer one over the other.
That's right. And the best part is, if you happen to run into the popo or anything else, nobody's going to think this is an overly intimidating type of blade. It's definitely a tool, not a weapon, and cheap and easy to sharpen, holds an edge. SE Zen Kudo for those people listening, and it's just it's been great. Because it's so small, it's very unobtrusive to carry on pretty much anything, and it's just so handy, right? So that's my top 2 EDC items, only because I use them all the time and have them on me all the time. So
I genuinely can't picture a
What is,
moment in which you would be considered intimidating.
well, on
You have
camera,
not seen
I
him in
am,
high
because-
heels.
Yeah, that's right.
Then he would come up to my nipples and not my belly button.
Yeah, that's right. We reached up to give you a nipple twist or something like that.
You have not had a purple nipple until Ian has done it in high heels.
Ian, who makes the knife?
What's that?
Who makes the knife?
ESEE, ESEE. It's actually like they have a series of knives that are actually guaranteed for life, and if you even if you bury it in the sand and you pick it up rusted out 10 years later,
Yeah.
you can still throw it to them and they'll send you a brand new knife. But these ones actually are the ones that don't have a warranty because they're made in Taiwan versus the States. But I think they're like $30, but they last forever. I mean, like I was actually waiting to buy a nice flipper that I was going to use after this one wore out, but it just hasn't worn out after like 2.5, 3 years and daily use. So
Nice.
Good.
yeah, so it's they have a bunch of they have names for every blade, but this one is the Zancudo, which I think is like a big cricket from South America or something like that. But anyway, it's got a little picture.
Is that a Men in Black reference? It's a noisy cricket.
Is like a noisy cricket.
Nice.
Like the cricket on one side, and there's the SE Skull and Bones logo on the other side.
Yeah.
But anyway, anyways,
We could
And
have
then
a
he
whole
says-
episode on like which knife you want. And, we're not
Oh, yeah.
getting into that.
Oh god, no!
Yeah.
Let's. That. I think we've done that. I think more than once.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I also like my top 2 are also my flashlight and a knife. Like every day, my usual carry is a Gerber ultralight LST. I don't have it near my desk to show you, like Ian. But
So was it an EDC then?
so is it in your
Well,
pocket? or
no,
not?
I had it earlier, but I'm not wearing pants now. So
Oh, right, the required not
That's
wearing
acceptable.
pants,
Okay.
right? Yeah. Okay.
No, but
it's
is
in
it
the
an
it's in the
EDC?
pants that I'm no longer wearing.
Yeah, but is it an EDC if you're not carrying it when you're not wearing pants?
Well, I was wearing it. I was carrying it when I was wearing pants, which is when I was out of the house. So,
Doesn't
And
mean
it's
you
not-
have
Do you
to
wear
be out of the
pants
house.
at some point every day?
Yeah.
like almost.
Depends. Do I have to clock in?
Well,
Hmm.
it's an everyday carry, not an every night carry. So I guess we.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So I generally don't leave the house without these 2 things. How is that a fair statement?
Sorry, without pants?
Yes. Yes, I generally don't leave the house without pants. I mean, there are exceptions to that rule too, but yeah. So my knife and flashlight are the things I use every day. To challenge, or Darius is challenging us here in the chat about it's the things that we don't that are not the knife and flashlight. So my Gerber and my little Olight are just fine. The things I carry that are not my everyday. The wireless mouse for my laptop, that is a thing that I use on a daily basis. That is always in my bag, is always at my side. And
Is that really a prepper item?
well, I mean, is it not? I'm prepared for working with it. So
Prepared for spreadsheets. Perfect.
I could say
prepared
the
for-
cell phone would
for
be that third
PowerPoint.
choice easy, but
Yeah.
because the cell phone, I mean, again, but it depends on what you're preparing for. But at EDC, like, at least, yeah, cell phone's always on most people too. So I mean, like, where do you go out the line, right?
Well,
Yeah,
it depends
well,
what you have on your cell phone. I think you
depends
can
on what
have
you
all
have on your
sorts of
phone.
very useful things on your cell phone that,
Yep.
I mean, it's the multi-tool of our age, isn't it?
Absolutely.
yeah.
We should probably do a whole
back in
episode
your
just
day?
on that.
You know, back
Just
when
to scare
Scott
Pierre.
and I were in our early 20s, and they had the calculator watches in the early 80s.
I had
you
one
know?
of
It was an abacus back then.
Yeah.
The wrist abacus. It was pretty awesome.
Yes, that's when I was young. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So other than the knife and flashlight that I carry on a regular basis, on a daily basis, when I'm at work, so I would consider that an EDC because it's always on me when I'm at work. I carry a little pair of wire snippers because I like to take extension cords out of service when they're damaged, and zip ties, and I use zip ties for absolutely everything around work. So those always live in my vest, and they save my butt from having to walk all the way back to my trailer and get things and then go back out and do it. So it keeps my productivity up. So
Sounds kinky.
Darius came right back and said he can't jump on at the moment, but he says a Silcock key, an emergency frequency card, which is useless without a canteen and a radio. But okay.
just going around opening hose bibs everywhere and just walking away.
Yeah, God, I had nothing to put it in.
Just generally inconvenience people.
I do get a lot of enjoyment out of that. I do.
So for myself, I carry my knife and my O-light. No, so in reality, yeah, I always have my knife with me. So, but it's one that's got a little seatbelt cutter and a little window smasher on it.
Smith & Wesson, eh?
Still, this thing, I have carried this for at least 15 years now, and it's
Yeah,
been
I
fantastic.
still got mine. It's still in good shape. I just went with this one. It's just a little bit smaller, but that's it.
Yep, I love this thing.
Non-conformist. This is a Pelican light, actually, not an O-light. So a Pelican.
Oh.
Pelican 1910 for the people who want to Google it. But,
very nice. Yeah, so this is on me all the time. It's something that is an every day and every night carry. It's always around. It's always somewhere with me.
There's my Pelican right there. Always nearby.
Go.
This particular one happens to be at my desk.
So it's been 41 minutes and 52 seconds. You can now officially potentially put that theory away that Ian and Alan potentially not the same person unless it was pre-programmed and
Deepfake.
there's a doppelganger. Yeah. Just saying.
There you go.
Ian, what's your off-screen avatar?
wait a minute. Oh.
Hey.
Hey, Eric, what's yours?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hey, Jeff, what's yours?
Yeah.
Now we're really going to start the
And
conspiracy
And the
theories.
plot
Robots.
thickens.
Well,
Pierre,
like,
Brad,
I'll
I
just-
think we're in trouble.
I'll just, I will again
mine just goes
point out-
blank and saying I'm doing whatever. But
I will again point out that there is a picture, like there's photographic evidence of me and Ian being in the same place at the same time and not the same person.
oh yeah,
Like,
because
people have-
Photoshop was only invented
Yeah.
like last week.
If that picture is Photoshop, it is the worst Photoshop ever because Ian is still that ugly.
Ouch! Ouch!
No, wait, sorry, I'm still that ugly.
Or is it the best because you're still that ugly?
Well, it just proves it's real. Because he doesn't have like a Instagram filter on there or anything else. He's legit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, jeez. But to mix things up, so not only do I carry the knife with me, but my little blowout pack. So tourniquet, some Celox, some gauze. That's with me all the time. It's either in my backpack if I'm out of the car, or it's in the car if I'm driving. But that's something that's with me all the time, just because you never know.
So where is it now?
Where is it now? It is in the car because I'm getting in the car in the morning.
All right, fair enough. And if you happen to get a severe paper cut and had like arterial bleeds from your fingers or something,
There you go.
Aha.
That doesn't apply if it came out of stock.
Well, fine. Fine. I might be surrounded by first aid gear right now, but
Saying,
if I had to use it right
if
this
you
second, I
sold-
can use it.
if you sold everything out tomorrow, what would you do tomorrow night?
Call my supplier and restock.
But what in between that resupply and everything? Or
But I do the
watch
same
now.
thing, and I just pick up the phone and call Eric and say, "Send me more."
I would watch out for paper because I wouldn't want paper cut.
Either that or tonight he's going through his inventory and everything is being deducted -1, so he always has one of everything around.
It's -2, obviously.
Well, clearly, it has to be -2. Yes.
Yeah.
What does Scott carry on him?
So obviously I have my little OLED flashlight. I'm more of a Leatherman multi-tool kind of guy. I also have a decent first aid stash that's sort of in the book bag that's usually in close proximity wherever I am. But I also carry a little power kit. So chargers, cables, USB battery, so that one of the dynamo chargers that actually works. So that I always have the option of charging my phone, charging USB flashlight or batteries.
Or at least
I
works
think-
for now.
I think those are just in the modern world, like having a dead cell phone, you sort of feel a little naked. So it's always nice to have the option. In terms of things outside of the obvious, I actually have I made up some dog tags for my kids. As ridiculous as that sounds, if we're ever in a situation where we're getting separated, he's old enough to know his name, but she isn't. So I'd far sooner have my name and phone number easily accessible for a return to owner. Let's face it, their OHIP cards would just have pictures of trilliums on them.
Mm-hmm.
So just sort of some easy way to identify them. Whether you do something, at the sounds ridiculous, local pet store where they do a little laser engraving and you can type whatever you want, their name, birthday, your address, your phone number. If you want to do something laminated and include a picture of them, so there's absolutely no ambiguity about, yep, this is such and such, and here's the phone number for the parents. Just because, if we ever got imminently, we're going to get separated, I'm going to make sure that there's a return to sender mark on them.
I suppose you can always chip them in the nape of the neck too. I just grab a hunk of skin and.
Well, I'm hoping to do that, but the readers just aren't that common yet. So if they happen to go to the vet, sure they get read. Just feels awkward,
Because if you get to therapy by the time they're 18, you failed as a parent, right? So I mean,
we're gonna have lots for the therapist to talk about.
I
follow
see
me for more parenting advice.
We got talking about chipping people, and Alan suddenly disappears.
Yeah.
Right.
Or did
So
Ian
considering
leave?
that
Or did Ian leave?
Ian-
Ooh, yeah.
Ian bypassed me, I'll jump in. So obviously I carry a knife, but I'm probably one of the odd ones here that for the longest time I didn't carry one. I never carried one. I would more have the multi-tool, which I guess did have a little pocket knife on it, but of course now that I have it, I don't know why I never carried it.
Can't live without it.
Use it all the time. It's handy. It's just a small little pocket knife, but it does what I need. And again, the multi-tool. It's nice to have the option with the different screwdriver bits and stuff like that on it. To be able to do some work on the go in a spot if you have to. But outside of that,
I use the pliers on my multi-tool all the time.
Yep.
Is that for dentistry with the kids, or is that just for other things?
If
To
it's
rip
needed,
the chip out in
absolutely.
case he's going on the run.
Yeah, there you go.
Touche.
Who's left? Anybody?
Me.
No.
Me. My trusty little can opener. It's always in my bag. It's always in my my lunchbox. I do have a knife as well. I like. I just looked up the ESA ones you were talking about, Ian, and I'm really liking those. And I have a pen. Normal pen. There is a stylus on the back end of it, and there's my flashlight. I do paperwork nonstop during the day with doing deliveries and marking my logbook and whatnot, and it comes in very handy. I've given out a bunch of them because it has the company that I work on, their name, their website, and their phone number on it. So it's a great advertising tool, and it's great for early morning truck inspection trips around the truck in the dark, and then mark my paperwork down and be able to use my work phone, which is a touch screen. So it's all in one. I have, I think, probably 15 or 20 of these around the house, and in my personal car, in my truck, in my lunchbox, in my go bags and whatnot. They are great. I love them. And yeah, that's what I got.
I'm seeing a common theme across everybody: flashlight and knife.
Yep.
Well,
And
probably
my
two
can
most
opener can
common
cut
tools
stuff,
ever.
so I'm happy.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I haven't gone yet. Mine's going to be a knife and a flashlight. 90% of the reason I have that is work related. Well, the flashlight more specific than anything. Knife, I never carry a really good fancy knife with me. I haven't seen them in the last little bit, but they've got at the Home Depot, they've got a Husky 2-knife set normally. So they've got this one that I have here, and I can't make my screen bigger. Like, oh, it's all blacked out now. So they've got one. It's got a pointy. Oh shit! Someone did it. Right. So
There you go.
yeah. So it's got one like that, and then it comes with one that's all black, and it's got grooved edges right at the bottom here. Which for me, 90% of what I use mine, other than a screwdriver at work for, is I can strip wiring really nicely with it. So when I'm fixing some wiring or whatever, it's got those little grooves. It's got the small and the bit wider one. My thumb against it, whip it around, boom, wires are stripped. I didn't damage anything. So it's a fantastic thing for me for work. Flashlight, but another thing I tend to maybe not have in my pocket all the time, but something that I will have readily very close, other than quick first aid kit blowout, maybe not as fancy as Eric's because I'm cheap, and when I decided I wanted to get everything, nobody had stock because of the whole Ukraine thing. But a lockpick set, and I have spare locks. So I have about 15 locks that are keyed the same. So in a scenario where something happens, and because we live in Canada, I may not be able to have more than a knife under a certain restriction on me, but I need to figure out how to get home. I can't get home. I always have 2-3 locks in any of my bags, whether it be at home, in my work truck, in my personal vehicle, anything like that. I'm always going to be close to the car. I can grab my bag and go. And if ever there's something, I can lock myself in somewhere, or I can lock something behind me to slow someone down behind.
That's
But whether I have the locks, Mel has the locks, it's one key. I've got a boatload of locks for everything. We have keys everywhere. Every bag you can think of. Our hunting bags that we never bring the locks with us, there's a spare set of keys in it and everything, because we're not allowed to hunt that yet. But right, so there's a boatload of keys in anything and everything, right? Whether it be our vehicle, my work vehicle, every single bag you can think of, anything that we may grab and have around us at any time has keys to either one of the locks we have. And it's just something that, you know, something's happening and you can find yourself a little 5x5 area that you can like lock a door and like be safe for a few hours. I mean, that'll go a long way compared to anything else, which will probably never need to be used like that, but it's very cheap and efficient if you can find a good deal on key to like decent locks. Which, I mean, I don't know if they're decent because I figured out how to pick them, but that's a whole separate issue on security.
cool.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Parting
See,
thoughts on the Christmas season, or should we?
I'd like to point out Darius's comment. His usual PDF dump and an offline phone. You know, we live in such a digital world. To have easy access to all of your important stuff is, with you at all times, I think it's a great idea. So kudos, Darius.
Yeah, especially with iBooks and you got a decent memory. Like, yeah, you can hold a lot of PDFs on there, right? That's even just in the phone without the USB jump drive or whatever. That's one thing for sure.
And
he
nothing
also
you can't work on your prison thing. Prison dump. Or whatever. No, your prison purse. Prison purse.
Prison wallet. Yeah, prison purse. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Is it technically an EDC at that point? It's not easily accessible per se, but
It doesn't have to
carrying it
be
every day.
easily everyday carry. It doesn't have to be readily and easily available.
Yeah, okay, well, take your word for that one.
I was going to mention
For the
Dan's comment in the
podcast
live chat
challenge.
here. Oh, jeez.
Do not.
Yeah, no. So Dan's comment here in the live chat talking about a Smith & Wesson EDC knife with a window punch and belt cutter. Pretty sure that's the one I've got. It's the Extreme Ops one.
Yeah.
I've been able to find it every once in a while on Amazon. He says it's hard to find right now, but I found one on Amazon. There's a couple online retailers too that carry them from time to time. So I'll look around and see if I can find where they're posted. If I do, I'll mention on the show in the future.
Yeah, I have one of those in my truck secured to the visor of my truck, and just if something happens, I drive way more kilometers in my work truck than anything else. I do want to get one for the vehicle, but even if, maybe not the craziest of scenarios like we've seen in most movies, but like something happens where it's going to be readily available, whether I come up upon a scene or I need it for myself. It's pretty much secured, easily accessible with either hand, whatever the scenario is. But always in the truck.
Oh yeah, the belt cutter and the window punch does work quite well on this knife.
Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure of trying it. I'm hoping soon.
I've used it a few times.
Nice.
So we're gonna talk Christmas a little bit, as everybody's ready to go. Any thoughts on gifts for a certain prepper, or ideas you could put out there for people listening that might have a prepper on their list and they're not quite sure what to purchase?
Well, clearly a flashlight and a knife would go a long way.
Absolutely.
Why would you say that?
That's ingenious.
Yeah, no real
idea.
reason. Just a thought. But
I would never have thought that.
At the same time, though, a lockpick set. It's not an expensive purchase.
Mm-hmm.
It's legal as long as you're not doing something illegal in Canada. Right? If I'm if I'm trespassing and I have it, then you can get charged for something else. But like, you're on your own property or whatever, you just want to practice on your own front door. It's not a bad thing. They're not crazy expensive. It's a little bit of a niche thing, but I'm like, once you really start getting into it, like, it can be fun when you pick a lock. You're just like, all of a sudden you're like whatever character you can think of out of every movie, right? Like the Italian Job. You're that chick that finally turns around and sees what's in the safe, right? Like,
you just feel like an absolute badass.
It's a dollar store lock, but still, right?
But
like that feeling's there, and you can work your way up. And I'm like, it's something you can do. Even your kids are kind of just playing or whatever, and you've got a bit of time, or they're getting ready, and you're just sitting down. It's not something hard to do. Something you can carry on and work your way to. By far, I would 100% recommend a lock picking kit for someone.
Yeah.
If it's
it comes in handy in the most random of scenarios that you would never think it would come in handy in, until all of a sudden someone's like, "Hey, I can't get into this, or I can't open that," or "Oh yeah, I can solve that." And then
funny enough, right when we got our lock picking kit, just 2 hours later, finally picked the lock. And I think it was my daughter is in Girl Guides, and they got to the building and someone screwed up and then wasn't there to unlock the building and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm standing there and I'm just like, well, I got a pick set in my pocket. I just need consent of the owner of the building, right? Like, to be within the guidelines, right? But I'm like, but it also took me like 2 hours to pick one lock. So I was like, I got a feeling I'm going to be here until like the next time they're here. Cause I'm like, it's a fairly heavy duty door. So like, Brad at the time. I called him after, and I was like, "Buddy, we need to work on a lockpicking set, like
Yep.
skills, right?" Because I'm like, it was a whole thing, right? They had this whole thing, and like they had some of the girls show up in like fancy dresses. They had like a princess night for something, and like everything got ruined for a few people. And I was like, I kind of feel bad, but I was like, I also didn't want to take up their whole night being like, hold on, just another few minutes, right? So, but in that scenario, right? Because they were talking to the person that owned the building, but they lived so far away and they couldn't get a hold of someone. So they just said like, hey, sorry, like there's not much we can do. You know, someone screwed up somewhere. But I was just
suggesting that you practice a skill and get competent with it.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
But
depends
the cool
on
thing on the
depends
skill.
on the scenario.
But by the same token, though, too, it adds to your mystique. If all of a sudden you just like whip out the lockpicking tools, you just whip open that door, and people are like, "Where did you learn how to do that?" And it's like, well, it's a long story. We'll talk about it one other time. You know,
Don't ask questions you don't want answers
yeah,
to.
be a man of mystery.
Because I drove here, I haven't had enough to drink to have this conversation with you.
I one day would very much love to pick a lock using IV supplies on a call. Like that's sort of one of a career goal for me.
There you go.
Yeah, well, it's hard to pick a lock with rubber tubing, though.
I was talking more about the needles, but you know.
Okay. Well, you know, if you're going to be specific, I suppose.
Why? How do you pick locks? I use rubber tubing.
Maybe
Well,
that's why it's your ultimate goal to finally get one.
Just pick locks with my boot. Problem solved.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's another skill worth trying. Fine.
So I wasn't kidding too much about the flashlight for Christmas. A little late for most people, I think, nowadays. But because you have to order them off AliExpress, and probably get here in like 6 weeks or more. But the little 50-cent flashlights, if you have a beginner prepper, and you're gonna definitely make them actually carry this a lot more likely. But for the sake of it, takes the CR 2032 batteries that everybody has. You can easily replace the battery
anywhere.
Yeah, you can put that at the end of your
at the dollar store.
Yeah, you can put it inside your wallet. You can put it at the end of your purse handles if you're a lady. I'm not judging Pierre. Or you can
Thank you.
Well, you put it on your
I said
at
at the
zipper or
beginning, I'm
whatever.
non-binary.
Yeah, that's right. And so, but yeah, I mean, most people just be thrilled to have this little headlight because I mean, it's flashlight season, right? Like the days are like what 16 hours of night right now for most places in Canada or more. And so to have something like this handy instead of fumbling for a flashlight that you may not have on your person because you're not a prepper or something, you get them into the mode like this and they realize how handy it is. Might get them thinking maybe a little more proactively, I guess.
Next thing you know, they're picking locks.
Yeah, I have exactly one of those on my house keys.
Yeah.
So if I forget to turn an outside light on or something, or I'm late getting home and it's dark and you can't see, it's always there. I need it. I need my keys to get in the house anyways. It's always there. I've got one of those small ones.
Yeah, and for the sake of these things, they're great little stocking stuffers and everything too. So yeah, you might as well.
I've had both Jeff and Ian's in years past, and both of them work fantastic. I do like the one that Ian has a little bit better because it's a little bit smaller and easier to replace the batteries, and you can hook them anywhere.
Oh yeah.
And Jeff, my sister had one of those for I want to say 10 years, and she was in university. She had lots of nighttime classes, and it was great to shine that in some of the dark corners and whatnot. She was walking to her car and she loved it. And I got her 2 more of them in the years following. And I have to find out if she needs another one.
Well, because everyone wants to use their phone as a flashlight, but if the phone dies, then kind of half your preps die for the most part for most people. But one of these things, it's never used, except for as a flashlight. And again, batteries are easy to find and replace and stuff. So yeah, it's just a nice little add-on for most people.
And like I say, like for me, and that would just be my advice for everybody is put it on a keyring that you use all the time, so you always have it. Like I say, it's on my house key ring, so I've always got it.
Yep.
It's not like I need it. I need to go looking for it, or I need to try and find it. I know it's somewhere. I'm not sure where I put it. It's always there. It's always on my key ring.
I know we've talked about headlamps too. I absolutely love the headlamp. I'd probably count that as one of my EDCs, whether I'm doing work around the house or whatever. It's a flashlight, plus I have 2 hands available.
Yep. I have one in my lunchbox just in case my pen light doesn't work, and I need some bigger light when I'm inspecting the truck in the morning that I have both my hands free, and it's a better light. And I can even put it down and have it sit on the ground or on the deck or something to shine a light on somewhere.
Yep.
It's a great little tool.
Or you want a prepper Christmas gift? The gloves, those little flashlight gloves we got you last year.
Oh
Brad.
yeah, though I
They
don't
fit.
remember where they are.
Yeah,
I know
but
they're in
they
a
fit.
bag somewhere. I don't remember which one, but yeah, they're
Yeah,
awesome.
they're a little sock. They go over your index and your thumb, and you push a button, and there's a light on your thumb and your index. So like, if you're doing stuff around the house, whether it be electrical, plumbing, or whatever, you've got 2 lights on each hands directly where your hands are.
Yeah.
They're fairly inexpensive.
Canadian Tire, I saw them in the impulse aisle in Cornwall this afternoon. They were $8.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
very
Temptation Alley!
cheap.
I hate that thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's great, but it's horrible.
Like, I don't know how durable these things are. I don't know if it'd be like something you want to use all day, every day. But I'm like, just, you've got low light, crappy power, and you've got something leaking under your sink instead of, because kids nowadays can't understand the fact, like, they've never held a flashlight for their dad like we did. So
Yeah.
you might just be better off having the gloves on your hand. But like, yeah, that's a fantastic thing. And even just having them walking around the house, if low light, power outage, or whatever, they do go pretty bright. But yeah, that impulse buy is just, I don't know what the heck they're called, but they're wannabe gloves, and they've just got little lights on them.
$10. It's night light waterproof. $10, $9.99 on Amazon.ca.
There you go.
I'm looking at them right now. Yep,
Yeah,
those are
we got
exactly what you guys got me.
Yeah, they
Very
might
nice.
not be the best, they might not be the most durable, but I'm like, they're very cheap, something to try out. I'm sure there's a very expensive product and like more durable somewhere, but yeah, it's a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool tool, that's for sure.
Very nice.
Cool. Yeah, so obviously we're talking, darkness, a lot of darkness going on with Christmas, power outage season. Well, we talked about power outages before. Same thing with wood stoves. I mean, fireplaces are going to be in use, so this would be a good time if Alan was here to talk about CO, but we'll skip right over that and go straight to the fire extinguishers. But good Christmas gift idea as well, if you want to get him in the mood for prepping.
I like
Yeah.
I like I buy them for the family every year. Just a package of hand warmers.
Yep.
Throw them in your
Yep.
car. Throw them in your carry bag. Whatever. Just something handy to have.
Yep.
Yeah. Talk about
100%.
heat. I say to people, I have some sort of a backup heat source. Those I can't remember what they're called now. They're the small propane, the buddy heaters
Yeah,
or whatever.
buddy heaters. Yeah, buddy heaters.
You can have those. If you're worried about power, make sure that your generators are functioning. As I found out, like I said last show, when I went to start my one generator, the pull cord broke, so I just pulled out the second generator and away I went. So,
Yep.
Dad's asking how the buddy heaters are, like review wise. He's considering one.
Depending on which one you get, I have not found one that I don't like. So they vary from the ones you can put on a 1 pounder or the ones you can put the 1 pounder on the sides, but like they have the one that you just screw on the top, then they've got the ones you can put on a 20 pounder or you can put whatever. I have not found one person or one I don't like. Find out the square footage area you kind of want to keep warm. And in this scenario, I will say go big or go home if you can afford it. And if it's something you want to lug around, take that into consideration. If you walk 2 kilometers to get to the hunt camp and you don't want to leave it there, weight is something you want to take into consideration. They are fantastic. They're not inexpensive, but they're not crazy expensive. But they're kind of at that price point where it's like, should I or should I not?
They're
If
worth their
if
weight
it
in
is something
gold.
you want, if it is something you want, 100% they are worth every penny for sure to purchase. And if you get a good enough, I think it's the little buddy or the Mr. Buddy or whatever, you can actually get the hose and you can hook up a 20 pounder to it, and you can, because most of them are made for the 1 pounders, right? That you
Mhm.
slip into the sides and this and that. But if you get, depending on the one you get, you can hook up that hose adapter and you can run it on a 20, 30 pounder, and you can be up at the, out of power for a weekend and, not go through a crazy amount of propane, because 20 pounders are way cheaper to refill. But yeah, I say they're worth their weight in gold, 100%. Buddy heaters,
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Awesome. And Terry in the live chat's backing that up as well. Says that he loves his buddy heater. So
I normally go hunting. My buddy's got a property. He's got an off-grid cabin, no heat or whatever. He's got a buddy heater in there. We crack the window when we get there, start the propane up, get our stuff out of the truck, vehicle, whatever, get everything in there. About an hour later, I am sitting in my underwear and socks sweating, even though it's -30 out. And it's not a big cabin. It's properly insulated. Right? Window
what
crack,
happens
air
at the hunt
circulation.
camp stays at the hunt camp here.
I don't want to know what happens at the hunt camp.
Well, but right, I mean, okay, so in my defense, I go with Mel. Right? Me and my wife, that's our thing. We go hunting every year. So
Okay.
I don't go
All right.
I don't go with Melvin, I go with Melissa.
Thanks for the clarification.
Oh boy.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess because of Christmas season, you're traveling to and from Christmas parties. I just want to mention that, if you're stuck in your vehicle, like that lady was in Vancouver last 2 snowstorms ago, hypothermia is a thing. So make sure you have your wool blanket on board. But also, something to keep in mind: keep your water preps from freezing. So if you have a bottle of water in the car, make sure it isn't like burst already or cracked, or don't fill
Hold
it all
on,
the
that
way up.
stuff freezes? Wait a minute.
It turns out water freezes when it gets cold.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Fun fact, but no, at least if you put your water bottle 2/3 full, it's not going to like burst or anything else. But yeah, just thought I'd mention the blanket thing because it's cold out there.
It is.
But also, so the gas I put in my car doesn't freeze. So if I put a little bit of gas in my water, it won't freeze, right?
This is what we call natural selection.
Yeah. The show's for
I
saving
support this
purposes only.
100%.
Yeah. Although
You do you, Pierre. All
You
right.
put vodka in your water.
Yeah.
Vodka in your water. Just fill your water bottle with vodka.
That's
That's
true
all.
too.
Guess what? My whiskey don't freeze. Just saying. It's better than water.
Well, I was going to mention it in my weather thing, but I'll mention it now. If you're traveling for the holidays, you're going somewhere. Make sure that you keep your vehicle full of fuel. Don't let it get down like the people in Vancouver did, and then have no fuel. And always, we've said it before, and when we talk about getting ready for the winter and that, so make sure you've got a change of warm clothes in your vehicle, warm and dry clothes in your vehicle. So.
Cool.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. One other
Figure,
Christmas gift I forgot to mention too. Actually, that was cheap and good for the prepper types is the seatbelt breaker or seatbelt cutter and window breaker tool you can get for $11 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's a good little stocking stuffer.
Rescue me. That's what that
Rescue, yeah.
right? Rescue me.
RES-Q-me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And handy little tools for sure for Christmas. But
Yep.
I think these ones are a little pricey. They're like $11 a piece or something like that. But they're worth it. Anyway.
Something I was talking to my wife earlier. We were talking about sending out Christmas cards, and that's where it dawned on me that you could put all your updated contact info and send it out to all your friends, and hopefully they'll send you it back. Just to be prepared.
But also,
like
don't
Scott-
put your sin on it.
No, don't put your
Not
sin
a
on
good
it.
thing. Okay.
But like Scott was saying with the key tags there,
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah.
You get Pierre and I live quite close to each other.
Yeah.
Eric and Jeff are Southern Ontario. I'm going down towards Peterborough. I know that Eric and Jeff are kind of in that area. They're not that far away, but they're closer to me. They're closer to Peterborough than I am to home at that point. If I know where they are, I can give them a call, send them a text message, something. I'm stranded. I'm stuck, whatever, broke down. Hey. But if I haven't talked to them in a few years and they've moved, I show up to Eric's old address, I'm still screwed.
Or you're
And maybe
making
I've
new
walked
friends.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Very, very good point.
So,
Maybe they're a better
also,
prepper than you
my-
are. But
My
Wow.
recommendation is go to Eric's, because Jeff keeps saying he's going to steal Eric's preps.
I realize
That means you got to go to Jeff's.
I was just going to
Very
say,
good.
go to Eric all you want, because I'll have all this stuff, and go over there all you want. There'll be nothing left.
So Jeff's
just
not
to-
replying
just to
where he
update-
lives.
update all your contact info with everybody as to phone numbers, email address, physical address if you want to. So yeah, if you know that people are like, if I know that Eric is coming up this way for work or for personal, and if he has my address, then hey, you get in trouble, stop on in.
Yep. And you just have to get a bunch of people to kind of sign on to that plan without worrying about OPSEC and PERSEC and everything else. But it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But I mean, it's also people you want to come over.
that's
Yes.
true. People
Yeah.
you would actually want to back you up.
Yes.
Before I forget, Dan mentions he has some of those emergency water Datrex packets that are like probably the ones that expand with the cold and everything else. They're in foil packages.
Yep.
They also makes the hamster shavings food rations, I believe, in the foil.
They do.
The compressed shavings, yeah. So the it's good company. I don't know how much they charge
Also-
for those.
Yeah,
As
I
a
leave some of those
gag
in the
thing.
car. I've never had them burst on me.
But also as a gag thing, on Amazon you can buy dehydrated water cans. You just add water to it
Just
or
add
whatever.
water?
Just as a complete
because-
fun gag thing, just cause. But you could probably actually get someone where they're like, "Oh my god, thank you," and they're like gonna put it in the car and not realize it's a joke. But yeah, if you just want to do the joke thing, there's lots of joke stuff. Just
Like
look up the
really,
most
dehydrated
craziest thing
water
you can-
is way lighter than water.
Much
That is
easier to
true.
carry.
But
Yeah.
but just like handing somebody that's just new to shooting a 308 and telling them to go crazy, or put their shoulder up against a tree before they shoot or something, that's right up there with putting the dehydrated water in the car. It's like you don't want to deter them from ever doing it again, like as far as preps go. So
No, but
no.
So that goes
Yeah,
to your more
'cause, yeah.
experienced prepper because they'll recognize the
okay,
joke of it.
so that'll either get them to giggle and be more into your mag, or that gets them an easy way out of your mag, where you're like,
or
I
they
don't
just
have to-
target
I
you
don't
for
have to
the
worry about that.
collapse, right?
Absolutely.
Which I mean, if they haven't figured out that was a joke and they're pissed off on the side of the highway, being like, "There's no water in this dehydrated water can," I don't think you have to worry too much
Again.
about them taking anything.
Well, you'll be able to loot their
Again, we
house.
call
after
that
you die.
natural selection.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
I love natural selection.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any last second things to add to the list, or
You guys were talking about alternative heat sources, and I put in here alternative light sources, batteries. Pierre and I were talking 2 weeks ago now. You had that power outage over there.
Yep.
You guys brought up the ring light. So I found a ring light the other day at the dollar store for $4.50. That's USB powered. Pick up some. Yeah, these things.
Yeah, those things.
Ring light.
Yeah, so last year there was a joke thing where I got a green screen in one of these, but I'm like, yeah, they're USB port, and I'm like, if I lose power, plug a battery pack in there, a 20 milliamp, it'll last all night. Put that in the living room.
Under
Nobody's
bright.
gonna walk into a wall.
it's like a magic ring? It makes your background disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy, you should.
And
see
then
the
I
background of
found
disaster.
I found these at the dollar store. 3 AA batteries, 3 different light levels.
yeah.
I turned one on. I turned one on at 2:00 this morning, just before I went to bed. Finished wrapping some presents and watching a movie. Turned it on 2:00 this morning. We turned it off at 1:00 this afternoon, and it didn't look like it wasted any battery, like strength wise. 3 AA batteries in there.
Nice.
450.
That's all right.
Yep.
Oh,
Said to the wife, we're going to get a few more of those. Place those around the house with good batteries in them. Leave them for when we need them.
Yep, for sure.
that's good.
So
Just
Very
Scott
nice.
Davis.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Feel free to
fall
chirp, whatever.
No. Did you want to add your stuff there at all?
No, I think I talked about most of my stuff.
Did you? Okay.
Cool. Well, with that, maybe we'll move into the podcast challenge then.
All right, for podcast challenge. Actually, just because we've been chirping about preps this whole time, and I don't want people to get too invested in it or too worried that they're falling behind or that they're not doing enough. So hey, let's just enjoy the holidays. We're a week away from Christmas or whatever holiday you may celebrate. Don't let your prep concerns ruin the season. So don't get too worked up over the holidays. Just enjoy it. Spend time with the family, and then next year preps will still be needed to be done then. So take a week off.
I like it.
Here, here.
Too.
All right, we got
And
some
that-
upcoming events. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I also didn't get my Christmas present from that episode that we said that you had to send us stuff.
Oh yeah,
Just letting people know.
that
It
was a
may have got
podcast
lost.
challenge, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know.
Shameless plug. All right, we got on January 22nd, so you can't say didn't but don't notice, the Chilliwack Gun Show is at 9 a.m. In Chilliwack, of course. There's a link to the website there under gunshowtrader.com. Not for the guns, but for the like-minded people and all the accessories you'll probably find there on the cheap because there's no deals at a gun show for guns. But yeah, no, it's certainly a way to find stuff that you might not be able to find for like old obsolete parts. You know, maybe just reloading components that are hard to find right now and stuff like that. There's always little tidbits that are actually decent deals. So get there early. Usually get the best deals then.
Nice.
Very nice. So the Radio Amateurs of Canada is putting on their basic ham radio course again. It is kicking off January the 26th, and it runs through till April 2023. So anybody looking to get their license, you want some kind of instruction from an instructor who's live and available to answer some questions for you, but you want to do it from home, they do it all online via Zoom. I've heard nothing but good things about the course. I did their advanced version of this and quite enjoyed it. So if you're looking to dip your toes in the water of ham radio, you can check that out. It's $50 to register for the course, and then they need you to buy a textbook as well. But
So what if I have the textbook?
then you're fine. They just they say that you need the textbook as part of the course. So when you register, you either select that you already own the textbook, you don't need it, you're going to borrow it from a friend, or you're going to be purchasing it, and then you purchase it separately. But they want you to have that because they kind of teach out of there. So that is coming up in January. It does usually fill up pretty quick. So if you're humming and hawing, jump on it while you can and get registered for it.
Is that like
I
every
want to,
Thursday?
but I have a few.
I'm not sure. I didn't look at the exact schedule for it, but they usually do a set day each week.
When I did mine, it was Wednesday nights and Sunday afternoons.
Oh, there you go.
It was 2 hours each time.
Perfect. And one thing that they don't tell you during registration, which was super handy when I went through the advanced course, is they actually email out the recording of that course after it's happened. So if there's one that you miss, you get the recording of the class, so you can go back and watch it. So it's not that you have to be at every single class. Obviously, that's the best way to do it, but life happens as well. So if you miss one or two, you get the recordings, you can catch back up and carry on with it. So
now, if you miss a course, do you know if you're able to email the instructor and whatnot and get an answer?
Oh yeah, when I went through mine, and Jeff, you can probably speak to the basic one, but when I was going through my course, the instructor was available. I still email him to this day with some questions that I have every once in a while, and very receptive and very open to questions. No problem at all.
Awesome.
Yeah, I had no. The only issue that came up with mine was the class was almost 200 people, and they varied in skill level from none to fairly advanced. So sometimes there was a lot of jumping around and a lot of people asking questions before the instructor would even get to that part of the class. And it did cause a little bit of some back and forth, but they cleared that up pretty quickly at the beginning and just said, stick with what we're talking about. If you know what it is, then be quiet and let the people ask their questions and don't get ahead of the class. And it turned out good in the end.
You know how there's always one guy in the class that asks all the dumb questions repeatedly over and over again?
I take offense to this.
Well, hold on a second. So the trick is to look around and see if there's some guy asking a bunch of annoying questions every time. If not, it's probably you. So just keep in mind that don't ask too many unnecessary questions. So
the only dumb question is the one you didn't ask.
Yeah, generally,
or apparently the one Pierre asked.
What's that?
I said, or apparently the one Pierre asked.
No, I was just saying, if you have a legit question, it's good. But there's always one guy that likes to show off how much they know, or the guy that like Jeff says, likes to jump ahead, or there's always something that has to feel a need to talk about every subject. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, and let's not kid
$50.
ourselves.
That also sounds like a great prepper Christmas gift.
True, yeah. I mean, we shouldn't kid ourselves. Ham radio operators like to talk, so you get a bunch of them in a chorus. There's going to be the odd one that's going to talk a lot.
Pierre, if you haven't got me something, pay attention.
See, I would love to jump on this too, but I don't think my wallet can sustain after the course. As it stands right now.
It is an expensive hobby. Yeah.
Well, maybe after the wedding, we finish paying all that off. But yeah, no, it is definitely something on my to-do list, hopefully at some point.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, you got a weather blurb.
I do, but before I do that, we didn't have a deal of the week this week. So if anybody's interested, we talked about it. Your most favorite place, Cambodian Tire, has actually the Mr. Buddy heaters on sale. The 9,000 BTU is on for $53 off. They're on for $69.99, regular $149.99.
Nice.
Until December 25th. So if you're interested, make your way over there and you can grab yourself a Buddy heater. So
that also tells me that Jeff did not look below the weather.
Just going to say, I was going to say if you want to do yours, Ian, and then Jeff can do his weather blurb since he clearly isn't reading the notes.
Oh,
no,
sure, yeah.
Because it's always been above, so that was my bad. Okay.
Cabela's deal of the week. I had have to go to my go-to, right? 10 amp hour lithium battery for potential solar systems or ham use. It's called the Markham Brute 12 volt 10 amp hour lithium battery with the charger. It's 25% off, so it's $35 off, and the link will be in the show notes.
Down to $109.
And it's lithium ion, so it's a thing. It's not cheap, but it's
And also, just to clarify, it'll be below the weather blurb.
Next time, yes. Thank you, Pierre, for your observation.
Clearly, there were strong winds, and it just pushed that down the.
So on to the weather blurb, I guess. Now that I've made an ass of myself, which isn't unusual, but
hey, you're good at doing it, Jeff. It's fine.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm the king. So it looks like a lot of Canada and the northern and even into the southern U.S. is going to see a big drop in temperatures in the next 7 to 10 days. Basically, we could be looking at wind chills into the minus 40s for the prairies and the northern U.S. So just keep that in mind, and it is going to move into southern Ontario at some point, probably around Christmas. They're even talking down in the far south U.S. into Florida of getting close to the freezing mark. So keep that in mind. The other thing is there is the potential for a significant snowstorm to hit the Great Lakes in the Ohio Valley area in and around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, the 23rd. This has the potential to be pretty significant. There are some weather forecasters saying that it has the same parameters and energy potential as the blizzard of 1978. So
I wasn't around then.
Yeah, well, I was, but I wasn't that old. But
it was a bad one back in '78.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I think I got to Star Wars at least twice by then.
Not saying it's going to be that bad, but again, for sure, there's going to be snow. It's just going to be how bad it is and how much you're going to get. I mean, the blizzard of '78, some places got 3 feet of snow. So keep your eye on the your local weather for the next few days. If you think things are going to get bad, make sure you're stocked up on your essentials, your food, fuel, like I said, in your vehicle. If you plan to travel over the holidays, make sure that, the potential is there for you to get trapped in some bad weather. So make sure that you've got fuel, you've got food, you've got water, you've got a change of clothes, you've got all that stuff. I've thrown in a couple of YouTube links for a couple of different weather people having some good chats about it. So just keep that in the back of your mind if you're going to be heading out for the Christmas.
I don't need all that, Jeff. I have the government. They will take care of me.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
Whatever.
Oh,
Buddy,
boy.
do I have? Oh, no, we're not gonna.
Never mind. Just trying to bait Pierre a bit. That's all.
All right, so we've got deal of the week to get into. Oh wait, we already did that.
Twice.
Anybody on the panel have any shout outs?
No, sure.
I'll give a quick shout out to Brad. Thank you very much. The other day when I wasn't sure what was wrong with my snowblower, he was in town. I was at home and picked up some spare parts that I didn't need, but not be bad to have. So thanks for picking that up, buddy.
That's what we're there for, right, man?
You bet.
Merry Christmas to all you filthy beasts on the panel and out there listening. It's a
Likewise
lot of
to
fun
all
hanging
you.
out with you guys, and looking forward to doing it again next year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, with that, I will bring episode number 188 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. Please help us out. Submit a review. It does help other people find us.
And we do record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast, and click the notifications tab. That will give you an alert when we are going live. You can contact me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca, or I'm on the Discord.
I may or may not get the email to Jeff. Depends if he reads the show notes next episode.
Why would I want to do that?
Scott isn't responsible enough to have his own email address, so you can just hit me up at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
At least you read the show notes.
Wow. I do know where you live. You know that.
That's fine. I'm not scared, Jeff.
Oh, I can be reached at bradcpp@gmail.com if anybody wants to send something my way.
You can find me off the wall customizing, website, email, tickety talk, occasionally on the Discord, and you may find me with Alan/Ian on Monday nights on the other CPP, talking about why you should prep or not prep because government is there to help. One of the two. I don't know. You'll find out on Mondays.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
I'm pretty sure we're fairly, solidly on one side of that argument. But anyway, you can reach Ian directly by emailing me at theislandretreat@gmail.com. As Pierre mentioned, we were on Canadian Patriot Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm also probably one of the few guys on the Gilded app because I don't belong anywhere else, it seems.
I have the Gilded app.
Yeah.
I'm on there.
For the OG CPP, which is Canadian Patriot Podcast. Email us if you want an invite to that one. There you can find us discussing why government waste in society has me randomly ranting during the holidays.
All right. And you can check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. So thanks for joining us. And until next time, be prepared, stay safe.
And happy Christmas Kwanzaa.
Or just Merry Christmas.
Okay, that too. Let's try to cover all my bases.
I support this message.